read a lot of contemporary romance, and they typically come in three categories: the good, the bad, and the so bad it's so good. In April, I triumphantly hit all three categories. I read the next book in my ongoing Most Ridiculous Titles project. This one was Temporarily His Princess, which is book one in Harlequin's Married by Royal Decree series. And guys, this was amazing, just as ridiculous as it sounds. Okay, get this. He's the Prince of Castle Dini. Yes, someone actually decided to go with that name. And he's also the world's top scientist in the field of renewable energy. She's the brilliant new graduate he hires, and they fall instantly in love. But he's presented with evidence that she stole his secrets and sold them to, someone. Spoiler alert, she was framed. He breaks up with her, pretending she means nothing to him. She's crushed, he's crushed. 6 years later, the king of Castle Dini wants to appoint Princey Boy, his name is Vincenzo, as Castle Dini's envoy to the UN, but is worried Vincenzo's playboy reputation will ruin the country's UN street cred. So, he orders Vincenzo to get married within 2 months. Now, Vincenzo has never forgotten the love of his life who betrayed him, and he comes up with the perfect revenge, blackmailing her to marry him for a year. This was truly a masterpiece of Harlequin artistry. Anyway, so I pre-ordered the latest Abby Glein's Rosemary Beach book, When I'm Gone. This one is about Mace, our Texan, and Reese, a young lady who has escaped an abusive home and is now trying to make it by cleaning houses. This is pretty typical Abby Glein's. Guy wants to protect girl from the harshness of life. Melodrama ensues. A cute read per usual, but pretty Abby Glein's formulaic. So, mourning the end of my beloved Lucky Harbor series, I decided to pick up the first book in another Harbor series by another famous romance writer, Lisa Kleypas. This is the Friday Harbor series. First book is Christmas Eve at Friday Harbor. It's about a guy whose young niece comes to live with him after her mother dies, but she's stopped talking since her mother's death. And then there's Maggie, the local toy store owner. And this was really short, so the change of heart on both sides seems ridiculously fast when it happens. It's not altogether believable. I think it would have been better as a longer book, but it was still passably cute, and I'll see if the rest of the series takes that potential and improves on it. Also, in my quest to find a new contemporary romance series to fall in love with, I tried The One You Want, the prequel novella for the original Heartbreaker series by the famous Gina Showalter. It's about a girl from a small town with an undeserved reputation, and a man she hasn't seen since they were kids, but who is now about to be her stepbrother. Not the best or worst thing out there, but it's a prequel novella, so probably not fair to judge the series on it. I'll try book one and decide from there. My third attempt to find a new contemporary romance series was with the Fool's Gold series by Susan Mallory. I picked up the first book, Chasing Perfect. Fool's Gold has a little secret. There are way more men in Fool's Gold than men, so this series is about finding men for all the women, I guess. In the first book, Charity has been hired as, I think, the new city manager, and Josh is the hometown hero. He used to be a really famous cyclist before an accident left him mentally unable to ride. This was not bad. Overall, a cute story, but parts of it didn't ring really true to me. But the ratings for this series go up after this, so I'm going to give book two a try. Rock Courtship by Nalini Singh. Nalini Singh writes one of my favorite paranormal romance series, so I decided to try her contemporary romance. The first book in this Rock Kiss series did not really impress me, but this novella that follows it up is not bad. Still not a stellar example of contemporary romance writing, but if she keeps improving, the next book should be actually passable. This is the story of David, the rock band's drummer, and their agent, who also happens to be the sister of the last main character, who's now hooked up with the lead singer. Anyway, it's not bad. Bring Him Home by Karina Bliss. Karina Bliss is kind of a hidden gem in the Harlequin world. Most Harlequin romances are just as ridiculous and badly written as you'd expect, But Karina's actually pretty good. Not to say I haven't read any duds by her, but I've been overall fairly impressed with her work. This was no exception. It's really a look at recovery from kind of communal grief. Heck, there isn't even any romance in this book for the first half. It's just about dealing with grief. The only really Harlequin thing about this is the twist at the end, but overall it's a very strong book and one of Karina Bliss's higher rated books for a reason. Who do you think are some of the most underrated authors in the romance genre?